All right, guys, I am back again with another video. This is our Decrypting the Cryptos with Ichimoku video session, where we will be looking at the markets for the upcoming week of January 24th, 2022. So what we do here is we just go through the top 10 most traded cryptos, and then if there's time at the end, we look over what else everyone else asked me to look over. But during this session, we're going to be looking at any trade possibilities, any trade setups, any trade opportunities for you get into the market, and also to help you to understand the structure of the market, what's going on currently, and what we could see happen throughout the week. And then finally, we will be using Ichimoku time analysis. Well, actually, sorry, we won't be using the time analysis much, but we'll be using the wave analysis and the price observation theory pretty much. So as we go through the video, you'll see me talking about that. And if you have any questions, guys, just put them down in them comments and I'll get back to you. All right. So let me get this thing started so we could get going because I got a lot to work out here. All right. Let's get going. All right, guys. So before we get started, please make sure you have a look at my disclosure statement. Please do understand that I am not an investment advisor. Everything that I do and show today is for educational purposes only. So if you decide to take upon anything that I am showing you here today, please do consult with your own personal financial advisor so that they can help you to understand the relevant risk factors associated with trading the markets, in this case, the crypto markets. All right. So make sure you do that. Make sure you understand that. And before we get started, as always, we like to get a word, a nice word from the Bible that gives us some encouragement. And today's word comes from 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. It says, "For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." All right. So basically, the Bible urges us that, and it tells us to be bold. Okay, when we allow people to intimidate us, we neutralize our effectiveness for God. Right. So the power of the Holy Spirit can help us overcome our fears, so that we can continue to do God's work. In this chapter, Paul mentions three characteristics that effective Christian leaders need, and it would be power, love, and self discipline. Power does not refer to having a dynamic personality, but the boldness that comes from confidence in the gospel. Love pairs care and concern with tender-hearted treatment of those we serve. A good leader must have a cool head and keep a tight rein on his or her selfish desires. These are available to us because the Holy Spirit lives in us. Follow his leading each day so that your life will more fully exhibit these characteristics. All right. Amen. All right, guys, I'm ready to get started here. What we're going to be doing again is looking at the top 10 most traded currencies based off of the 24-hour volume. So the top 10 with the highest volume for the past 24 hours, and I'm using FTX US. Okay, so we're looking at the BTC USD. These aren't in order now. I took them out of order. I just was making sure I had the top 10 in there, so I didn't put them back in order. But what we're looking at is this BTC USD. So I put a video out a little bit ago telling people don't get excited about the move we saw on BTC USD, because I didn't think that the market was going to, break this downtrend that we see right yet. And it's dropping even a little farther than I kind of expected it myself, really, because when we look at it, let's see exactly what's happening. So just on the daily time frame, we could see here there was a strong support and resistance level here, right? So we got this level here, and this is where we came down to previously. So it looked like there was a possibility to bounce here, but you don't want to change the market direction just because you see a level. You want to see things happening in the market. So when I see things happen in the market, so this was a bullish market right here. Sorry, we were bullish at this point, and we came down and made like this little bottom right here. And at this point, what I'm looking for is divergence. So when I get to a level, I want to see if there's divergence, because we were flat here, but my RSI was showing me divergence there because we were to the upside while this was flat. So that was a divergence. Okay, so that's one way that we can look to get into the market when we see that divergence. And when we see that divergence, it's an opportunity to get in, especially if we're at a support and resistance level. Because for me, like, divergence doesn't matter much unless I'm at a support and resistance level, right? So then when we came over here, I was looking to see if we had any divergence, and you could see we don't really have anything at this point. Pretty much the market is doing what it's doing. It's breaking levels. Now it's pushing lower. So where could it possibly go to? There is a possibility for it to go to a couple spots. Let's mark them real quick, and then let's go to the higher time frame and look at that. So we're going to go here, mark this level, and then you got the bottom down here. So we're looking at like, what's that? 35,919. And then 28,788. So we're looking to see if the market could come down to that point. Now, what's happening so far with this market? If I was looking to short this, if I wanted to get into a trading opportunity, what I would be looking for is this. Because once the market makes these lows here, and these lows at fractal levels. So this would be a fractal level here. I'm not going to mark every fractal, but the major ones, this fractal level, this would be a level, but then we would have a level here, and then we would have a level pretty much here, right? So what we look for is for the market to come back to these levels to trade. So like when the market dropped and broke this level, it just broke it barely, and we weren't able to really count that as a good break there, a good opportunity to trade. But then it did here, and again, it didn't come back to this fractal level. So two fractal levels we didn't come back to, but just make one thing clear, is that we're breaking lower fractals. So we're breaking bear fractals. In the process of breaking bear fractals, that proves that the market is bearish. If you start breaking bull fractals, then you're starting to see a market that could be changing direction. But at this point, you don't have that. So what I'm looking at is the level where we could continue to short this market, because we have some strong support here, and then we're going to have also support. So we got this level here at, what's that, 35.19 again, and then 28.78. So why do we think the market could come there? Let's first look at this market structure, and then let's see what's happening overall. So when we talk about Ichimoku, we talk about wave analysis. And the other wave analysis would be like if you're talking about Elliott wave. But Ichimoku is breaking down a little bit simpler, a little easier for you to understand. Okay, so what Ichimoku does shows you is these waves, these N wave patterns, where the market moves in like this. I'm going to break down each wave here, an N wave like this. So this starts to talk about our wave analysis, okay? So those are all N waves in that area. But then the market moves in one big wave also. You put a big wave in there, and you would say 1, 2, 3, and then came down to this level, right? So then we could look at the next level if we move forward. Let me get that out. And then we would say the market said 1, 2. We would use this level, actually. Sorry. We would use this level. 1, 2, 3. And then we're looking for that N target, because this is an N wave. So we're looking for N targets, because in Ichimoku you have targets. I'm going to explain this real quick right now, and then I'm not going to explain it anymore throughout the video, because I explained it in a lot of videos. So there's 4 target levels of Ichimoku when we talk just price observation theory. All right, your 4 main levels, but there's other levels, but these are the 4 main levels. So if the market was moving to the upside, suppose we took a long trade right here. We want to know where our targets are. Ichimoku observation theory tells you where your targets are. So your targets are going to be, we take this trade here, we shoot for these targets. So we're going to shoot for the first targets, what would be NT right here. This would be NT. Then the next level would be the N level. And then the V level. And then E is going to be the furthest level. The main levels that you're really going to be concerned with are this level, N value, and the E value. And when we talk about this stuff today, we're going to be talking about these levels, these values. I'm not going to talk much about the NT level, and I'll tell you why. And the V level is usually pretty close to the N level. So I don't see a reason to clutter up my charts with more lines. So I don't use the V value, because usually the N value is well enough and the market comes close enough, and that's good. All right. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about targets and when we talk about Ichimoku price observation theory. That's the price observation theory pretty much in a nutshell. All right. That's the easy part. So when we're looking at where the market's going now, so we want to see a completed N wave, because at the completion of the N wave is going to be the last part of the target. So if we said, like, we looked at this is 1, 2, 3, and then we're shooting for 4, that would give us an N wave, right? It would give us an N wave. That's your N wave. So if we say, where's the market going to right now? The reason we would say, where's it going to right now, is because it's in this right now, it's in this V formation, now started into the N formation, violated this low here. So we can confirm that we're moving to the downside, continuing to the downside, and not fluctuating here, and going to continue to the downside. So therefore, I don't see BTC USD turning around, but let's see where some of these levels are, where there is some strength for possibly to find an opportunity to get lower. Now, if you like, where we're looking to get as low as we can, so we can get this when it starts moving up. So if we're looking for this to move lower, I'm going to show you what I use here. So we're looking for this target here. So we're going 1, 2. This is price observation theory. 3. So the targets I told you, I'm not going to use. I'm only looking for the N value, right? And the E value. In this case, I'm not going to be looking for the E value either. This 100 is the N value. So that means the market, we could see the market push down to this area about 131,954. We could see it push down to that area. And the other thing is the E value. I'm going to show you how to find these two values only. And then after that, I'm not going to show you any more of this, all right? You'll just know what I'm talking about. So when I talk about the values, what I just showed you were the N and the E value we want to know. The N value I always can find right here. I just go to my tool, and we use this Fibonacci extension tool. And then here's what you're going to set your settings on. All right, I don't know if you have the same one that I'm using, so it may be a little bit different for you, but you're going to set this on, your levels are going to be 61.8 and 100. 100 is going to always be your N value, because what it's showing you is this, that when I look at this chart, this leg right here is what we're going to say is going to be equal when we drop down. All right. So we're saying this leg will be equal. If it's going to be equal, it's going to get to this level. This is the N target, N value, N level, N target. So we're saying this leg is equal to this leg. And therefore, if they're going to be equal in value, then they will come down to this level right here. All right, so that's why we're thinking the market could push down even lower to this level. But again, we do have some support here at 35,919. And then finally, the last leg of support is this 28,788. And that's probably near your E value, pretty much probably near that E value. Let's see what the bigger time frame is telling us. Let's go to the weekly on this thing. All right. So the weekly, pretty much the same. We're looking at a bigger wave, and then you could also see this support level down here. This support level takes you right to the N value where I was talking about. So let's make this into a zone, because we're going to say this is where the market could come down to. Now I'm going to make it into a zone because I have wicks on here. So this is a big weekly zone. You could see this zone right here where it's support. So we want to see what the market's going to be showing us when the market gets down here. We're thinking it probably could get there too. We got a crossover on the weekly that's bearish. You're getting weak on your cloud. You're getting ready to have a Kumo twist. Chico span is still above price, but it's violated Kijinsen, which is major. Kijinsen is the blue line here, and Chico span is the purple line. The magenta, when it broke this level, that's a sign of very strong sign of weakness here. So just because we have weakness doesn't mean it's going to drop forever. It could drop down to this point here, and then maybe we flatten out and we start to see what happens. We push off of this level. So if we were thinking like, even if we were talking about the market recovering, doesn't mean it has to be a full recovery. But if it drops like this and comes up, does something like this, right? Then you're still catching this move here, this push off the leg here. And that's what we'll be talking about. Now, if the market violates this whole area here, then we're in trouble. We're going to be looking for lower levels. Where's the support going to be? Let's go back to the daily time frame. Oh, sorry. I can't see here with that light in my face. Oh. So we're going to the daily again. I want to see one more thing. So we have that big weekly zone, and that's where our end value is. And if we look at this overall market, I would have already showed you because I drew that last end wave from the weekly. If I draw that from the weekly, it would have showed you this level here still. All right, so this is where we're pushing on. I'm thinking maybe we can push a little lower, maybe into these levels that I'm talking about. But if you're looking for this thing, an opportunity to short this, we always look back at these fractal levels. So let me remove this level here. I'm going to show you this fractal level. So what I always look for the market to do, if I have wicks on these fractals, I draw it into a zone like this. All right. So this fractal level had small zone wicks on it, so I made it into a zone. What I looked for, what I'm always looking for, the market to push up into this leg here, up into this zone. All right. And also we had a nice flat Kijinsen, so we were looking for the market to push there. It didn't reach that level. So now when the market violates this area here, we're going to look to see if it'll push back in that area. And then at that point, that's when I'm always going to short the market. So if it pushes up into this area, I'm going to short it. And I'll be going the direction of Ichimoku, which is bearish. You got all bearishness here. Nothing showing me weakness here as far as the downtrend. And the reason being is because all things on Ichimoku are very, very bearish. All right. So main signs here that you want to see. Your future is dark. So gray skies, you got a TK crossover that's bearish. Crossed over here, then it had a nice angulation here, a little bit of angulation there. And then you had Chico span break price, but it also broke Kijinsen. When it breaks Kijinsen here, major sign, market's weak. We're going to see that fall down to the downside quite possibly. So that's the full-blown turnaround there. And break out of the cloud already. Last thing, what else? I think that's pretty much it. One thing I want you guys to take note of, and I believe I told you this before, but I always say the same things over because these are the main things that you always want to look for and think about when you're trading these markets with Ichimoku. All right. Whenever you see angulation like this, see the green line and the blue line, whenever those two lines are together, aiming to the downside or upside, you definitely want to be in that trade. And look at that, what happened right there. Okay, so that is a big area where these two are tied together, pretty much right here. And the market just dropped. And you could have made profit at that point if you understand that, because this breakout with this Kumo breakout. So the Kumo breakout developed, and when it developed, you had angulation like this on both of these together. That's a strong trade right there. So that's one thing you're going to always look at. The second thing is your clouds. We're not going to get deep into that because I've been explaining that on every video so far. So I won't hit on that. And I'm not going to hit on everything like I usually do, because you can watch the previous weeks and you'll start to see some of the things that I'm talking about and know what I'm saying when I talk about a thick cloud and so forth, C clamps and all that stuff. Again, I told you why I look for the market to bounce off of levels. So when we got down to this point, like I said, we had that divergence. So the market was flat here, came back to this level, double bottom basically. But when it came back to that level, we had a little bit of uprising here with your RSI. See, this was all flat, and the RSI was pushing to the upside. So we had divergence, and then we looked and the market moved to the upside. So when we got to this point right here, what we had at this point was support from the bottom of the cloud. All right, so we had cloud support with a flat level, And at that point, we had again bullish divergence and the market pushed to the upside. So as we got here, I was looking at the market and I saw this divergence and then the market pushed to the upside. This is where I didn't think we were going to make it too much farther. You had resistance from Kijinsen also. And then as we got here, we started to look, but you could see we don't have any divergence. So the market's doing just like that, breaking that level, breaking this level. So those are the things I look for when I'm looking for the market bottoms at support and resistance. All right, if I'm thinking I'm at a support and resistance level. And then when you get to a top, let's say we have a resistance point up here. If we got a resistance point up here, and I only pay attention to this divergences at support and resistance levels. I don't care about divergence other than the support and resistance level. If I have it at a support and resistance level, then I'll trade it. But as you see here, this was pushing to the upside, but RSI was pushing to the downside. And then that market just dropped. All right. And you would have said, well, Ichimoku's bullish, blah, blah, blah. Ichimoku might be bullish, but the market wasn't bullish. All right. You got to listen to what the market's showing you. And then finally, we got a crossover here. Then the market showed its weakness. And then you got a Kumo breakout here. At that point, you're well into the trend. You miss a lot of the move if you're waiting on Ichimoku. All right. So there's some other ways to catch this market, but we're talking Ichimoku right now. And we're talking about what you see right here. So hopefully this is helping you out. Hopefully this helped you out and you understand what we're looking at with BTC, BTC USD. So again, looking to get down into these levels. At these levels, you may start to see the market may be able to start to reverse a little bit, but I think we could push down into this zone somewhere. All right. There's no signs of like reversal at all. I don't see anything telling me, oh, we're probably going to start moving to the upside. Negative. Just look at the support and resistance levels and see where the market is. Is it coming closer to those levels? Because it's usually going to push to those levels or towards those levels. And at this point, based on Ichimoku, there's no signs. I mean, zero signs of strength in this market. It's bearish. Okay. So hopefully that helped you. Let's move on. ETH USD. Let's start with the weekly first. Let's get the big picture again. Then we look at that later. Go to the weekly. Here we can see the weekly. Very bearish. Coming up to a nice level though. Okay, so let me see here. Coming to a very nice level. So I told you I like to trade the fractal levels. I like to see the market come down to these fractal levels. Is this level going to hold? Because look at the Kijinsen, flat and then aiming to the upside. We're getting ready to look like a crossover. But your cloud, look how strong your cloud is. So we're not seeing any signs of changing with the cloud, right? Because the cloud is still angling to the upside on span A and B. So let's see if this zone can hold. Now, this might be a big zone on the daily. So when I put it back to the daily time frame, so we may delete that zone. But that zone is very important because this is where the market could start to see some change of direction here. So where we are now on the daily, again, this looks very weak also. All right, on the daily, it looks very weak. So I already drew in the levels before, so I was trying to show you where the targets were. So we already had a level from our last time. This was our end wave. We wanted to see where that market was going. All right. So actually, where are we headed now? So let's change this up. Where could we be headed now? Or remove that and bring it back. Bring it back to the old school right there. So let's see. This thing definitely looking at pushing to this level here, right? That's what we're looking at if we talk about Ichimoku again. We're talking about that end target, that end value. So that end value is right here. We're looking for the market to come down to this level right here at about 24.39.3. So we could see that push. That'll give us an extension like this. This will give us this leg right here. All right. That'll give us this end wave. All right. And this market moves basically in end waves. All right. You could see it right here. And this was kind of like a fluctuation level. Then we started getting that end wave in, and there you are. You got end waves. That's how the market moves. And so therefore we're looking for the market to move here. This move here would be a 1-to-1 measured move, or else your end value in Ichimoku. So I'm looking for the market to continue moving to the downside. What you look for to see if you're going to see it, like when I'm trading short or long or whatever, whenever I'm trading the market with Ichimoku, I want to see how far away Kijun-sen and Tenkan-sen get from each other. I want to see if they're flat or if they're angling. Both of these are angling. Then I want to look at my cloud. I want to see if it's angling or if it's flat. If it's flat and Kijun-sen and Tenkan-sen are flat, the market is flat. We're not going anywhere. But if it's angling, Tenkan-sen and Kijun-sen are angling, then the market is moving somewhere. And that's what's happening right now. The market is moving somewhere. So it looks like we might violate this zone and might head on down to at least this level. And then maybe we get a correction. But again, I look for the market to pull back to these fractals or pull back to Kijun-sen. And then I look to get into the market short or whatever. At this point, no opportunity right now. I want to always trade at the 3 level. And the market has 4 levels. This is going to be the start of the trend, the end of the trend to start the correction. The start the correction to the end of the correction would be 3. So this would be 2. And then from the correction, the end of the correction to the end of the next trend. So if you trend down to 2, then you correct up to 3, then you trend down to 4. That's the one whole N wave move in Ichimoku, and that's what you shoot for. That's what the market moves, and that's what you should continue to look for on any time frame. It doesn't matter what time frame we do. We're talking the same thing on all time frames. So what you're going to get also is the trade at the 3 level, because the 3 level is where you want to trade. You don't want to trade at this 2 level. All right, the 2 level is the fluctuation area. We can get into a range at that level. That level is most likely to be a level of maybe support for you, and therefore you're trying to go long at that, or you're trying to break that level, and you shouldn't be, because this could be support. All right, you should already be in the trade if it's going to break, good. But if you get in down here, then the market says, oh, that's support, I'm moving back up. You're stuck. All right, that's why you don't want to get in at that area. Yeah, again, we're shooting for this level, I believe, first, right off the bat, 2439.3. That's where I could see this thing going. I don't see an opportunity to do anything with it right now. I don't jump in a trend that's already started. So where you could see a possibility, if this, say this does drop, even if it gets to this level, always mark your fractal, because it could come back to the fractal level, and that would be this level right here off of your daily time frame. So what I would be looking for is the market to do this. Again, let's see if the market's going to do it. But we'll get this leg in, or even start now, and then push back up into this zone. At this point, we short it. All right. And then we may break that level at that point. See how strong this trend is to the downside. That's what you got right now with ETHUSD. I've done 2 pairs, and how long have I been on this thing already? I need to really move it, right? I've been 25 minutes on 2 pairs. That's why we don't get much done. I'm talking too much. So let's go to Sol USD. Let's break this thing down. So when you see 1 pair, you've seen them all, pretty much. All right. Won't be too much difference on any of these, as they follow the mother right here. They're all pretty much doing the same thing. You wouldn't be able to tell which chart was which if I didn't tell you, because they all look pretty much alike. So my analysis is not going to be very different than it is for any other ones. All right, so let's go to the weekly real quick on this thing. Weekly coming down to a level. This was the support level we were thinking about. It's looks like it's getting through that level. Actually, it's right on that level. All right. But I still see maybe, I think it could still go lower than this. Let me see. We got a flat cloud here. All right. So we're flat here. We're flat on Kijun-sen, but we got angulation to the downside on Tenkan-sen. And we're at this support level. if we break that level again, so if we break this level, you think about shorting at this level also. So this is a weekly time frame. So here's what you're looking for. If you break this level, because see, I'm looking to see if we're going to hold here. If we don't hold, then we just break. Then whenever we come back to this level, we short that level again. All right, and that'll give us that N wave. See how the market works? If it's going to hold here, then it's going to be a continuation of this kind of move. See what's happening? And it still could be. We didn't want it to really go lower than this, or else we might have we start to see maybe a change in direction, because then the market could do something like this. If you violate this low here, then now you may be into a 1, 2, 3 reversal, because you have 1, 2, and then 3, which pushes us to the downside. This won't be a correction. This will be the moving, the impulse move. This will be the impulse move to the downside. All right. So let's go to the daily. Push this thing right to the daily. So I'd like to be doing this live for you guys each and every week. I need more views, so I know that the interest is there, so that I'm not wasting time on something that people don't really want, or people don't really want to give time to really see. If I know people want to see this stuff and enjoy this stuff and want to learn this stuff, then I'll do it. And I'd rather be live, because then you can ask me questions. We can do this live on YouTube. Okay. So the trades that we look for basically are going to be like, if I'm trading Ichimoku, I'm going to look to bounce off of the Kijun-sen level here. So the types of trades I look for, my main trade would be my S-wave trade, Ichimoku S-wave trade. This is pretty much one right here. And I'm going to show it to you. Let's put this on here. Oops, we don't want to do that. We don't want to add another. But anyway, this is the area, because this is the zone right here. And so we mark it like this. So the market was at that zone. This was the low of it, and it moved higher. Then it broke that zone, came back to the zone, and then we trade the zone short. That gives us the S wave. That's an S wave trade. That's an S wave in Ichimoku. So Ichimoku has waves. When we talk about wave analysis, we're talking about I wave, V wave, N wave. All right. Then you got P wave, Y wave, S wave. So those are the main wave structures that you're going to see. The P wave, Y wave, and the S, and the P wave and Y wave are going to be fluctuation waves. To me, the S wave is not, because it's a move back to structure and then a break back. Let's get this going here. So there's no signs of weakness again here. And like I told you, we try to trade the fractal levels, right? So you would be looking to trade a fractal. So we didn't catch the last couple fractals, but I'm going to show you what the fractal levels are and how you should. So the direction the market is moving is the direction we want to trade the fractals. So like the market's moving to the upside here. Let's move Ichimoku off the chart for a minute so that I can show you this. Make sure you got this clear. So the market's moving to the upside. We look at this fractal because it broke, and then we make this fractal. This is a small, tiny fractal level. This one really was violated, so I wouldn't have really considered it. Then there was another one here. So this is the next fractal level. If I'm looking to trade the market, I want to trade a bounce off of that level right there. So what happens is this fractal level, back it up a little bit. You got fractal levels, bullish fractal levels we're looking to bounce off of. We didn't bounce there. All right. This was not a fractal level. This was a fractal level. We didn't bounce there because we broke them and then started to move higher again. But then we broke this fractal level right here. So when we broke it, look what happened. We pulled back to it. This is now the S-wave trade. And then it moved higher. So then again, the next fractal level, you're going to mark the next one. So you mark the next fractal to see if the market pulls back to it. And we'll just take this and move it up to this level. All right. So then we're going to see if the market's going to bounce on this level. So the market tried to bounce on that level, then the market changed direction. So then we're going to start when it changes direction, we're going to mark the bottom fractals, the bear fractals. So the market breaks the bear fractal, bounces and then drops, bounces and then drops. Then we mark the next fractal, this one here. This was a nice move here, but we might have got confused with this. So the market drops, don't get confused, because the market didn't really violate and then it dropped to the downside. And it continued this N wave. So look at this N wave structure. This right here is first an I wave, Ichimoku I wave, then a V wave, and then the third wave is the N wave, completes the N wave. Let's see how extended we are, where we can find targets for this market since it's moving to the downside. I'm going to show you where these targets lie. When the market was moving to the downside first, we would have said 1, 2, 3, and where's it going? It went down to this N wave right here, right? See, 1, 2, 3, and then right down to our target. This was the N value. This green line is going to be my N value all the time. So then now, where's it going, right? Because this was the wave. Here's how that wave goes. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's my N wave. So I clear that. And then I'm going to show you where it is now, right? So now we have this level. Let's see where it's going now. And again, we want to get in the market at the 3 level, right? So if we got in at the 3 level, it would be in this area right here. And the 1-to-1 target, the N value is right here. So we're looking at the market pushing down to this level at about 109.4850. Let's put Ichimoku back on the chart now and see what's happening. So with Ichimoku on the chart, I don't see any weakness, and I don't see anything that's going to hold us from going lower than that level. Now we may hit this level and then correct, because we're not getting too far from Tenkan Kijisen, and they are both angling to the downside. Now, not in the fashion that I'm talking about, like these are good angles, and you know that's strong. But when they're pretty much touching, like this right here, that's super strong. They're not touching here, all right, but this is very strong still to the downside. Maybe we get back to this point. So if you get down to this point here, 109.4850, maybe we reverse at that point for a correction. Not a reversal, sorry, but a correction. So if that happens, then mark your next fractal. So your next fractal level is going to be based off of this. This would be your next fractal level. All right, and you would look for the market to pull up to that level. So we break this level, you pull up to that level, then you short that level. So you want to mark this fractal level. All right, clear? That's what I see happening right now with this market. Pretty much this market looks like the other markets. So let's go to Matic USD. Matic USD is the only one that's looking different now. It's not a copycat here. So we had a top here, and we probably realized we were going to be seeing the market drop to the downside. You can't just look at Ichimoku and say that's the end of all, because look again, what did we see here at this level? So we were I want to explain this thoroughly, because exactly what I told you guys what could happen or would happen did happen or happened to us. Okay, so I marked the level from this point, and I was early, and I expected the market to continue moving, but instead it dropped a little lower. So then it means it dropped to this point. Let me move this. So it dropped over this point, a little bit lower than where we had it. So what was happening was this. We said that the market was going to move in an N wave, right? But let's mark this 1, 2, 3. I say to continue the trend, what level does the market have to violate in order to continue that trend? Because we're shooting for 4. 4 could be way up here somewhere. All right, and we'll look and see where it really is. Let's see where it was. So 4 is way up here. This was the level when we were down here, right here. I told you that the market could push up to this point. But I also told you this, right? 1, 2, 3. And I said in order to make that N wave, we would push to this level. But I thought we were pushing from this point. Instead, it dropped a little lower. So I said we need to always get past 2. So we talked about moving in a trade and taking the trade because we were at this fractal level. So we took the trade, and then it might have got stopped out here because the market moved lower on us. And then it pushed higher. When it pushed higher, where did it move to? The level that I told you it needs to get through to continue the trend. I said the 2 is the fluctuation level. You never want to trade at that level. You want to be taking profits at that level. All right. So when you see the market push up to this level right here, it did like we thought it would, but it didn't violate that level, and therefore the market dropped. Now, when we see it drop, sometime it gets into a P wave formation, which would give it like this. And it pushed up to here, then it starts to do this. And then it more like a P wave, right? Then it breaks to the upside or downside. In this case, it doesn't look like no P. It's not a P wave. And I'll tell you if it's going to be a Y wave. But I don't see that right now either. Let me see. No, I don't see that yet. So this is violating this level here. Still bullish market, but it's becoming very bearish. Chikou span's getting ready to hit Kijun-sen, so this is going to be a strong level. You still have support from the cloud. Your cloud is still, it's not angling to the upside. So span A is angling to the upside. Look at here. So we got span A angling, rounding here, and then span B angling to the upside. Okay. So B's angling to the upside. Span A starting to roll over. We don't want to see that. We want to see it angling to the upside. So now we know we're in a correction. Until span A rolls back to the upside, we're probably going to see this market drop. If this market continues to push lower, you may find support here. So let's see where the downside target is now, because we are not violating the 2 level here. But in this case, this is the 2 level now. We're backwards. So let's see where the down target is. So if we're moving down, then we're going to be looking. And the reason we're moving down, I'll show you. The reason I think we're still moving down. So we're right at that level. Oh, man, we're right at that level. And I don't think we're going to hold right here. All right, so we still have support from the cloud. And the E level is going to be, let me mark the E level, because that's where we could be going to. And I'll show you why these levels again. Look at this. So you get this N wave, and you have to break this level to really continue a wave. This wave is so even because you came back here. If we violate here, then we don't think about the N wave anymore. All right, we're in some kind of fluctuation or starting to see a reversal. So we're thinking we can push back. This is the N value. We're already there. So had we taken a trade up here, why would we have taken a trade up here? Let me show you really quickly. Because you have this. See this? And see this? When you hit this, hit up here. Whoops. What you had was divergence, because these were flat at this point. These were flat, but this was diverging to the downside. So therefore the market dropped to the downside. Okay. So that was divergence, bearish divergence. Let's see if let's see where our target is to the downside. We already marked that. Let's see where our E value is. Sorry. So this is our N value. Let's see where that E value is going to be. And basically it's just going to be my ruler and drop it down to this level. So then our E value is going to be, that could be pushing us way down into this level here. All right. I don't know if we get there. So this is your N value. Your E value would be down here. All right. So your N value is going to be the same leg. So that's why you got this right here. And that's why you're hitting this level. All right. So we're talking about E being down here. So if E's going to be at that point, then we would just, let's mark this even bigger so we could see it. Let's look for the market to maybe push this low. Ultimately, that's the low for this thing. Um, this is a fractal level. Actually, no, that's not. This is the last fractal level right here. We bounced on it once. So I always talk about those fractal levels. Again, we bounced on it once, pushed higher, couldn't break the 2 level, and then dropped. I always say the same things over and over. Look at every video I tell you. You have to break the 2 level. If you don't break that 2 level, then take your profits because you're getting in at 3. This is why you don't get in at 2, and then the market drops. All right. Now, if we were going to be strong, we would have broke this level, but instead we double topped and then dropped. So I'm looking for the market. Maybe if we keep dropping, watch that breakout. If we get that breakout, we're going to push down into this zone here. All right. So Matic, I don't know, man. Ichimoku signs are still bullish, but they're starting to get weak because look at our crossover. So here's the signs of Ichimoku. We got a bright future, right? So still sunny skies, but we have a crossover that's bearish and angling. See the angulation with both of them together. That's what I told you is strong. And then Chiku Span broke below price, but it has not broken Kijinsen yet. It needs to break below Kijinsen, and then it will be heading down this direction. All right. So what we can see maybe is the market push lower, correct back up to this fractal level, and then maybe drop back down to this area. All right. And then at that point, we may see it try to reverse and get back to the bullish market again. But that's what I see right now with this Matic USD. All right. Let's move on to Link USD. Link USD. Let's go to the weekly time frame first. See what the week is looking like. We having a good week. We're having a bad week. We're having a good week. So basically, this market came down. Really, like Ichimoku's not helping me a lot on this on the weekly time frame. It's flat. We know we got a flat market. I probably already told you that we were probably coming down to this level that I drew. I'm gonna change this level. I'm gonna make it into a zone. It's a zone, and this is how far we could see the market drop to. About in this area. So we could drop a little bit lower, right? On the just looking at the market structure, we're pushing right back into this zone here. And it'd be tough to say we're going to just violate. So let's go to the daily. One day, 50 years. And we're pushed into the zone. Okay. So again, when we were down here, we were looking for where our target was. I already marked this. So I showed you that the market would push up to about this level here, or maybe up into this area here. We did push to this level and broke it a little bit. Then we dropped. Now, when we dropped, last week we were talking about finding support at this fractal level, and this is where we could look for a long opportunity. The market blew right past that level. So I would have been thinking we were going to bounce here because we did have the thick cloud. So the thick cloud and everything showed us that we were at a bottom. So we knew we had this bottom, and then we pushed off of this bottom, but we stayed in line with the trend. As you could see, the trend is bearish. So just because we broke above the cloud, it didn't change the direction of the market, and then the market went back bearish. We were looking for the market to do this. This is what it did. So this was one N wave, right? So then we thought it would move to another N wave. So we were thinking the market was going to correct right here and then push higher and push up into this area. All right, but it didn't do that. Here's what happened. This was a nice candle. Looked like it was a rejection. We are going to get opportunity to trade. So we probably talk about putting a long in this area after the market gets to the bottom down here. We would have never got triggered, and then the market continued to drop to the downside. The market's finding a bottom down here. All right, make this into a zone here. This is what the market's finding. So maybe it's going to find support here. Let's see if when we do get to this point, let's see if there's divergence here. Because if we have divergence, we're going to be talking about quite possibly pushing to the upside. Now, what's not good here also on this chart, I don't know how far down we could drop yet. Maybe those levels that I'm talking about. First mark a line here. Let's put something there for real. So let's mark these levels where we could be seeing our next level of support. We could see support where we are, or else we could drop a little lower, which would take us down to about, what's that? About 15, right? But we're currently at about 17,9120 for support, and that's the low where we are. So maybe we get a correction. The angulation is still strong here. I don't see a flat Kijun-sen or anything to show me that we're not going to stop dropping. Okay. And our cloud is flat though. So a flatter cloud, but we're starting to twist. So we did have a bullish cloud that was flat, but now we're twisting. So we may be having another twist. So therefore, I think we're kind of flat. All right. So let's see if we get through this level. And the main thing is this big candle here. We want to see if we get through that. That's going to be this low down here. So we could push down to this point, at which time we want to see how far the distance is with Tenkan-sen and Kijun-sen, how far the market is from there. Do we have a reversal or what? Are we bouncing off of support? So right now, just continue to look for the downside move. Let's go to Doji Cat, Doji USD. So I don't recall. Let's go to the weekly. See what the weekly is telling us first. So there's not a lot of information on this thing for the weekly time frame. Looking at this level, let's see where the support and resistance levels are. Could be a little zone here. And then finally, let's mark this level here. Let's see what this is. Could the market push down to that point? Had a rejection off of this level here, and we're pushed right back at that level. We may find support here. If not, we could see this thing drop to 0.769, 0.76920. So therefore, let's go to the daily time frame. All right, so the daily, we rejected that Kijun-sen. We rejected the Kumo very nice there. We're almost getting flat here, okay? Nice move here, then we're kind of flattening out here. So we're starting to wonder if we're going to get, so let's make this into a zone, first of all. I'm going to make it into a zone from where it is to the bottom here. The reason being is because we have support here, but we also have support from this previous candle low. All right, so we made it into a zone where the market could find support. Now we're bearish, so I'm not gonna really look to go long at this point. But at this point is where we could see the market bounce and possibly move a little higher or get flat in this area. All right, so I think either we bounce off of this level or we go a little bit lower and bounce. I don't see anything else. And I don't really have a good trade. We're not in a good N wave formation either at this point either. So it would be a nice formation. Here's where we would see our reversal. This would have to happen. So we don't break this low. Then this would be 2. Then we would be at 3. And then we would shoot for 4. So we would be 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Let's see if that happens. So we really don't want to see it go lower than this. So if that's going to be the case, if it does hold that point, then I'm going to show you. Let's see exactly where the target is. 1, 2. So we would actually shoot for, if we bounce here, we could possibly see this thing push up to about 0.219,530, which would be this level. And now when I talk about this is a little bit longer term. Doesn't mean it's going to go straight up there. Some people respond to me on YouTube and, oh, your target wasn't right. You didn't get this. Guys, it's not going to get there in one day. Okay. Look, wait to see what happens in a couple days or a week or 2. Sometime you'll see that. Yep. That's where it went to, because the market doesn't just go like this line I just drew, straight up like that. Now here we did come straight down. We don't see that a lot. Instead, it does this kind of stuff like this. And eventually we get to this level. So if I told you up here, if I was here and told you we were going to get to this level and then you said push back, and then it dropped here and pushed back. You didn't get to that level. This is some reasons why sometimes you don't even want to give analysis, because people want to criticize that and try to find a way to make you wrong or whatever. There's no right or wrong here. What we're trying to do is basically help people to see the market, help people to understand. We don't know what the market's going to do. We're going to be wrong most of the time, period. But when I'm trading, I'm not going to be wrong most of the time, because here's how I'm not going to be wrong. I'm going to be right most of the time. And here's how I'm going to be right most of the time. My analysis might not be on point. My trade entry might not be on point, and I might not win most of my trades. But if I win half of my trades, 50% of my trades, even 45% of my trades, I could be a good trader. Oh, you think that can't, right? It's not impossible, because what you have to do is manage your risk. If you can control your risk, manage your stop losses, and, okay, so today I lose $100, but tomorrow I win $700. And then the next day I lose $200. Then the next day I win $300. I'm up in the market. All right. And I'm 50-50. Okay. So that's what I'm talking about. You have to manage your losses. It's not about being right or wrong with this analysis. It's about helping you to understand where maybe the price targets and levels could be, the structure of the market, the support and resistance levels, and where you could take a trade. And then once you do that, you have to manage your risk reward, really, which is basically your money management. All right. So, and again, I don't think we push here and go straight up to this level. So we may bounce on this. We're already starting to reject this level. This is the daily time frame. This candle is going to close in a little bit. All right. So once this candle closes in an hour and 57 minutes, let's see how it's rejecting this level. If it's rejecting this level pretty good, then maybe we see the market push higher. Again, Ichimoku's flat here. Too many crossovers. The market's pretty flat. It's pretty much been flat since this point here. You would have said let's say this is the low, and you're staying at that low. All right. Let's go to LTC USD. LTC USD, daily time frame. Let's go to the weekly. Again, weekly's at some good levels. Let me mark this. Let me take this level off. Get confused with that. This is a really good level right here. And we're in this zone. So again, I think we're going to bounce in this area where we are. I think we may see the market bounce. Now you're getting a thick cloud here. That's a good sign too. The thicker the cloud gets, the more it convinces me that the market won't drop through this level. All right. And we stay flat up here. Angulation to the downside. A's to the down, flat B. Let's see what happens here. Very good level for us to find support at this point. So let's go to the daily. So on the daily, it's still looking strong to the downside and maybe trying to show some divergence. Maybe. All right. Maybe showing a little bit of divergence here. So if we reject here, we could push up to this level, which means we're going to push back up into this fractal level. Then we can look to see if the market, we could short it again. All right. Into this area. And again, we always mark these fractal levels. So every time you're going to mark your fractal levels. Didn't get many bounces here. Here was one fractal level. Then here was the next fractal level. The market bounced on it. Then here was the next. We didn't make it. And then that's pretty much it. This level down here. Let's say we didn't look real good on it. So let's remove that. I'm thinking of possible. So look at the angulation on this stuff. Oh my goodness. So the levels, like, it's not coinciding for me, because the levels, I'm thinking these levels hold, but then I'm seeing angulation that's strong. So I'm seeing strong momentum in the market that's telling me we might break these levels. But keep these levels on your chart. These are what you're going to look for, because look at these levels. Looking way back here, you could see how strong this level was. And for me to say it's going to just violate this level, we have angulation, but we may see the market only push down to this area. All right. It could push back up and then push down, because we are in this N wave, right? And let's see where this N wave target is. I didn't even mark it, but let's show you the N wave where we are now. So where we are now, let's see if we're done with the wave, where we could say it could complete. It could complete. Let's go 1, 2, 3. We're getting close to that level. So yeah, we could push a little bit lower into this area, 106.95, 106.095 or 107.790 area. Okay. And then if we get to that point, then watch for a push back into this zone. And then we could probably short again to see if we get through here. We may double bottom at that point. You'll know what the market may be doing even more. All signs on Ichimoku are bearish. All signs. All right, so let's move on to Sushi USD. So again, I marked a level here because I was looking at this fractal. We violated it. It sat here. It looked like we were going to hold, then violated and pushed on to the double bottom here. So let's remove this because we pushed down to this bottom here. We're flat with Kijun-sen and everything. Not Kijun-sen, but our cloud, because we got too many crossovers. But slight angulation to the downside. But this support level is strong here. So while we're at this level, let's see if we have divergence. Looks like we may have divergence, or we might. It depends on what goes on here. But this is a good level of support. And the only reason I say that is because you don't have angulation on your cloud. Your cloud is thin and flat. You have some angulation on Tenkan-sen and Kijun-sen, but they're getting farther apart with a flat cloud. So this bottom here may be a good level for the market to bounce off of and push up to the upside. A small move to the upside. I don't see it violating and pushing, like making a big new trend. So good support and resistance levels though. Let's go to this. So this AVAX, I don't know if this was one that had the volume. Let me see. Actually, it wasn't. How did it slip in here? All right, this must have been one I was talking about with somebody and they wanted to see it. So it's brand new for me. It's pretty much brand new. Like it hasn't been long with the data, so you don't have a lot to mark with data. But we always talk about pulling back to these levels. So this level here, let's see what it does here. Then ultimately, we only have the support that we have. The last level would be here. And I could make that into a zone, which would give me this level. So we could push into this area. At that point, look to see if we're diverging. All right, do we have any divergence at that point? Then we would know if maybe we're going to bounce here or continue to the downside. Remember, I told you we trade the fractal levels, right? So here's what you would have done, or what you should be doing, looking to do. See this fractal level? When the market broke this level, it bounced on this level and then dropped again. This was your N wave structure right here. And then your N wave targets. Let's see where both targets went to. Let's see if we hit our targets on both of these N waves. So again, you have an N wave target and an N wave structure as far as wave. Let's see if we hit these levels. So we would go 1, 2, and then 3. We hit the level on the first trade because that would have been not the first trade, but the first leg, the first N wave, because it would have been like this. And then we would have been looking for the target. This would be target. This is where I tell you, get out of your trade now. All right, because if you're in the trade, you should be taking up profits now. And then we look for the next leg, which started the next wave is here. Whoops, let me get that out. Bring this back. So the next wave goes here. 1. Let's see if we're done with this wave. So no, we're saying this wave could push right. This wave would push right back into this zone here. So what that would be is this. I don't see this market changing right yet. So it could push down into this level at about 0016,750. 0016,750. I'm 0016,750. That's where we could see the market push down to. All right. Currently, it's looking like it's trying to find support here. Might push down a little bit lower. That would give us that 1-to-1 leg that we look for. So AVAX, it snuck its way in here. It's not one of the top 10, but we got it on the list. So let's move on to the next. The next is going to be BCH USD. That is one of the top 10. Let's look at the bigger time frame. Go to the weekly real quick. 1 week. These are all looking alike, coming back to these levels. This is a nice level here. The lows, let's go to the next low. Let's go to the lows. We could push to these levels, but I don't know. So based on Ichimoku, the cloud is getting very thick, but we still have a little angulation developing, getting very thick, pretty flat. So maybe we're finding a bottom here. We don't have any divergence, so we could probably still even push lower than this. All right, but we're going to look and see on the daily what it looks like. So we put our levels on there, and then we can look at the lower time frame. Lower time frame looks strong to the downside. Angulation on your cloud, angulation on Tinkins and Kijinsen. Chiku span pushing to the downside. There's no signs of weakness here. So how could we catch this? Mark your fractal. This is your fractal level. See if the market pushes back up into it. If it does, that's where we would short it, because we would be looking to short into, let me show you. This is the wave. And we think the wave's going to go down, let's say here. In the process, it corrects a little bit, and then we could get into the trade. We get into the trade here, then we could push to that level. Let's see where that level is, where it could push to. When we make targets like this, it's possibilities where it could go. It's not like it's going to go there. So we are pushing towards a level. See if we can get down to this 274.75. Quite possibly may. Nice angulation on your cloud. All right. See this flat here? We don't have any of that. This flatness. And then it separating a little bit more. And that's where you get this drop. And then it drops and then correct. And then now we're dropping. So we get a drop. I think we correct. And then we drop. All right. You got angulation. Angulation. Good signs. You got angulation. Angulation with Tinkins and Kijinsen. Chiku span is below price and below the cloud. Everything's bearish here. So looking to continue that N wave to the downside, which will give us this value right here. All right. 274.75. Okay. That's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's the top 10, I believe. Let's look at this BNB USD. I'm going to look at a couple other ones real quick. We'll just do some quick analysis. So this is very bearish. We're not going to go double time frame. It's starting to show, it could be showing divergence. Doesn't mean this divergence can last for a long time too. So I don't trade divergence, but I like to mark support and resistance levels, because if there's divergence when it gets there, then I'm going to trade, quite possibly that trade to the opposite direction. This is a level support, right? I mean, resistance here, support, and then support. If we go back down here, a little bit of resistance there. So this level's strong. Where could it be pushing to now? Maybe this level, this bottom here. All right, so that could be a level. Let me mark that. So we're thinking we could push even lower. Let's see what this N value is and where the target is. So again, all I'm doing is finding where we're in the middle of the N wave. So we want to see where the target is going to be. So we could push down this level, this support level. So looking to push down about 349.44. More downside for the BNB USD, right? More downside for the bed and breakfast. That's what I call this, the BNB. Because here's your wave. And we push to that level. That will give us a perfect end value end wave. This is the end wave. This is the end value. We'd have perfect match. And that would be good. So we could see this push down to that point. If it doesn't, right? So watch this. Quite possibly we find resistance here. So we're going to look for a short opportunity at this point. So if we get there, we could still push back up to this level and then still see it drop maybe again or a double bottom at that level again. So the things that we could talk about seeing the market do, we could come straight to here, right? We could even come here and then push back to here and then short. We'd still have that N wave structure. All right. We could come down here, come up here, bounce, and then not break, get into another P wave, and then break. Or we could see the market just come down, push back up, come down, double bottom at this point. Then you might have divergence. Then you see the market push higher. But at this point, it's bearish. There's no signs of changing right now. We should stick with what it's showing us, bearish. We don't want to go against it. It's short. It's bearish. There's no signs of change, at least pushing down to this end value right here. So that's what I would be looking at if I were you. So I'm already over an hour here. I think this is good for you guys. I don't want you to get in a 2-hour video. So I'm not going to look at too much more. I'll look at them super quick. That way I can, if I see something, I'll talk about it. So we're going to comp USD. Again, I'm going to look for levels real quick. Let's go to the weekly on this one. Comp USD. Let's mark some levels. Maybe support here. And maybe support here. So we're kind of like a zone coming into it. Would we have any divergence at this point? Negative. So then let's go to the daily time frame, 50 years. Boom. We're very bearish. So looking to get into these levels. Look at the angulation here. This is going to keep dropping. Look at this angulation. Look at this angulation. All right, look at Chico span. Broke out of price. Continues to move to the downside. We could find support in this area and may see it bounce back up again. Push off of that level. All right, quite possibly. But right now we're bearish and I would just ride that. I wouldn't be short right now unless I was already short. I wouldn't be trying to get in this trade right now because I only get in trades at levels. So my next opportunity would be for me to catch this trade. Show you right where I would catch this trade. I would catch this trade right here if it pushes back up to there. So therefore, I'm saying that this market's going to drop, push up into here, and then we're going to get an opportunity to short. All right. If you start breaking structure and get a cloud breakout, then you may start to see the change of direction. Okay. Let's go to DLT USD. Daily time frame. I can't tell you much about this thing. There's not enough data. But again, it's still trying to do the things we talk about. It broke the fractal level, then pushed back up, broke it a little bit higher. So all I could say is this is dropping. I can't see it changing right now. So what I would do is mark this zone. See if the market pushes back up into that zone. We are still following the N wave structure on this, so we're still bearish. All right, N wave structure. We don't need Ichimoku on the chart to see what's happening with the chart. So we're still bearish. All right, so where could this move to? Let's see real quick. Let's see if we already hit the one target because we could move to this level. We're right at the level. All right. So if we don't push through or lower to this level and start to push higher, then we may find resistance at this point, at which point it's going to probably drop again. We're right at the 1-to-1 ratio. So we could be shooting for the E value also. So let me mark that real quick. See what that E value is. About right there. That would mean we're going to get way down here. So we would be thinking the market was going to come way down here. All right, at about 13.5. But right now we're at the end value, 19.971. Might see a little push up and push up into this area. All right, let's go to OMG USD. Flat market here, no divergence. So we getting that angulation. This is the type of trade we should be in. We should be in already, especially when it breaks Kijun-sen. When you push up and then break back below Kijun-sen in a bearish market, that's where you should take your trade at least. Now we're a little bit too far because we're taking the trade at the 2 level, so I wouldn't take the trade now. What I would look for is the trade back to the 2 level. So it would be an S-wave trade. How would it be an S-wave trade? Let me show you. S-wave trade started here, went higher, goes lower, and then comes back, trade, short. So that's how I stay in line with the market also. The market is bearish, and I don't want to be going long. All right. So I wouldn't be looking at this as a bounce level. I would be looking at this as a bounce to the downside level. All right. We're having a hard time getting below this low, but it's starting to now. All right. SAN USD, very, very bearish. Very bearish. Let's see where this thing could be going to. So there's one level right off the bat we could be going to. This is where we could find a market bounce at this level. We're right at that level. Watch to see if we bounce here, but I don't think so. And the reason I say it is because angulation is so strong. So a lot of times I can see this and say like we may continue or we may bounce. And what I'll see is like the separation of Tinkerson, Kijun-sen, a big thick cloud. But in these cases, we're seeing angulation like to the downside, really strong. So I think this market's going to violate this level maybe, all right, and push even lower. If it can't violate this level, it may push up a little bit higher. Mark your fractal levels because that's where it could push back up to. Even if it gets through this level, this will always be a level that we're thinking about possibly pushing off of and taking a trade to the downside on. All right, let's go TRX USD. TRX USD, very bearish. We should have been short right here already after the bounce of Kijun-sen. All right, where could this be going? It's leg right here. I'm not going to mark that, but I'm going to look at just the support and resistance level. So we could be pushing lower to this area. So we could be looking at 0493675. Very bearish. Now, this isn't as bearish as the others because the reason being, we're starting to roll right here, which means we may be finding a bottom. But I don't have any divergence yet at all. Really don't have any divergence. And I don't have any signs of reversal yet. So remember, I talk about trading the fractal levels. Let me prove it to you again. Let me just prove this to you that you should be paying attention. Somebody told me fractals are, I put a video out and they told me fractals are lagging. Fractals are not lagging. They're leading. They already show you the level where you could be trading. So that's leading to me. If you don't understand how to use them, they're lagging. But this is what I love. The market breaks this fractal level. This is the fractal level. Let me get this clear for you guys. Understand this. This is the fractal level. We are not violating bare fractal levels. See? Until here. This is the first violation of a bare fractal level. All the way up here. But then we violated it. When we violated it, we pulled back up into it. It was a zone. and then we dropped. All right, so we bounced off of one fractal level there. Let's go to the next fractal level. Let's move this to the next fractal level, which is right here. And you could already see it bounced on that level. It broke the level. Let's mark it here. We broke the level, pushed back up into the level, started rejecting the level, and then the market dropped. And we had a nice N wave structure. The market dropped, period. Those levels are super strong. So is that still enough? No, that's not enough. They don't trust me and believe me. Well, let me show you. You guys don't trust me and believe me? Let me show you the next fractal level. This is basically the S-wave trade, Ichimoku S-wave trade. So there we broke this level, pushed back up into the level, and then dropped. Had you been trading these fractals, you would have traded 1 fractal, 2 fractal, 3 fractal. Is that the last one? Negative. You would have got down to this fractal level. This one you would have marked, and then you would see the market dropped, pushed back into the fractal level, and then dropped. Boom. You'll be making profit. All right. That's how I'm trading the market all the time. This is a S-wave trade, an Ichimoku S-wave trade. Okay. So I'll show you the S-wave again real quick right here. Started here, pushed higher, pushed lower, pushed back higher. That's the S-wave there. And then it drops. Okay. So that's what I see with this TRX USD. I'm going to look at these last two real quick. And then we're going to be Audi 5,000. So we got Uni USD pushing through some nice support and resistance levels for sure. Starting to show a little bit of divergence slightly, but nothing major. But it's at a major level. But it still continues to fall. Let's go to the higher time frame. Then I know you guys want Ichimoku, so I'll put Ichimoku back on the chart. I'll get lost. If I take Ichimoku off the chart, I'll get really lost into the analysis. So it's a nice zone here, but no divergence. All right. Nice zone. Really mark it because it's going to be big. That's our zone. Seeing if the market will hold here. Looks like it may violate. If it violates, here's what you look for it to do this. And that's longer term because we're on a weekly chart. But that's market structure, period. That's the market anyway. So it may be pushing down to this level right here. If we violate this level right here, then we may be pushing down to this level. All right. Maybe pushing down to that level. So there's where we can be seeing the market drop to. Let's go to the week daily time frame. All right. Let's see if we got a wave here. Well, let's see the wave target, period. Not if we have a wave. We do have a wave because we're going just like this. We're right at the target, right at it. So we may correct a little bit and then push lower. All right. If we push lower, look to get inside this zone here between these 8 level and the 5.2 level. Big zone, but that's what we see. We need to put Ichimoku back. I forgot. You guys just think I'm strictly Ichimoku, so I better not do that. I'll confuse you. You'd be like, how come he's not trading Ichimoku? I thought he was Ichimoku trader. I'm a trader, period. XRP, this was supposed to be on the upper list, I believe. But anyway, this is the last one we're going to look at. So let's start this off with a weekly time frame. This is for my man Cashflow Nexus, a big XRP trader. Loves to trade XRP using Ichimoku. So shout out to my man Cashflow. Shout out to my other man. All right, D to the Q. Also known as the Forex Bully. But Forex Bully, here's our zone right here. So the market pushed up. Remember I told you how the market likes to come back to these fractals? And I told you it doesn't matter what time frame we're on, right? We could do this on the 1 minute time frame if we want to. This is the fractal level. The market pushed up, broke it, came back down to it, and then went long again. That's the S-wave trade. It would be this right here. Then the market flattened out right here. Now let's look at this. I'm seeing some issues here on the weekly time frame. Doesn't look like we're recovering. I mean, this is a major level, strong level. I don't see any divergence, that's for sure. What I'm seeing, though, is like this descending triangle pattern, which could be a bad sign. Because then we push back up and then we break. So we may bounce here, push back up, and then break. Ichimoku's too flat, though. There's no strength or angulation or momentum to move any lower at this point. So it doesn't look really, and we got separation starting to develop. It doesn't look like much on the weekly time frame. It just has a great support and resistance level. Let's go to the daily time frame. Daily time frame. All right, so on the daily time frame, man, this angulation is pushing harder. I just like when I see this. Let's see if I'm going to mark 2 levels on here. I'm going to show you why in a minute. Let's see where this market is going to. It could push down a little bit lower to about 0.48570. Might be finding support here, though, at 6,000. 0.6 level. But then there's another level. I'm going to mark it from a little bit different area. I'm going to take it from this point. So if I did that, we're right at the 1-to-1 level, the N wave. I mean, the N value. And our N wave would be a perfect N wave at that point. I still see downside on this. I don't see anything to let me know. And trade, I should have been in the trade already. If I'm looking to short this, then I need to wait for the correction, the pullback. Where are we going to pull back to? Again, you pull back to your fractal levels. So then you would wait for this to pull back. So what you're going to wait for again, we're completing these N waves, right? So we're looking for it to pull back, trade here, short, then we go. Hopefully we get down to this point. Have nice angulation on the cloud, angulation here, angulation here. Look for that market to drop to the downside. But again, we could correct again and push back up and then drop. All right, so if we push off of this level, look to get up into this area, and then we can short it again. All right, so hopefully that's it. That's what I'm seeing on the charts. Guys, hope this stuff is helping you out. Please let me know if you enjoy this, if you like it, because that way I just keep doing it. And then the second thing is we do want to get live. So we do want to get more views. We want to see these people showing me that it's good. It's something that they want. And if I see that from everyone, then I'll know that you want to see this live broadcast on a weekly basis, where we can talk about it one-on-one, because you'll be able to talk to me live markets. I'll be able to go to any asset that you want. This way I'm restricted because y'all just won't give me them views I need to understand if you really want this stuff. But guys, hopefully it's helping you out, right? I enjoy doing this anyway, so I really don't care. I really love doing this. I love doing this on any chart, on any asset. And I just love to help everybody if I can. So guys, hope it's helping you. And until next time, have a great one. God bless. So long.